If one case stands out, the M-Pesa case for Safaricom really does stand out in the sense that this is technology that makes a product, banking, or first banking, and I think the banking was accidental. They didn't mean it for that. They meant it for money transfer. But it has meant that a lot of people who normally wouldn't have thought of having a so-called bank account can now save, can actually now have some money somewhere, which they can top up, and that they can also easily send money across the country, in the very near future, across the region, across the world, easily and at the press of a button and privately. I think that was most impressive. Particularly where technology is involved, let's say like the M-Pesa system. I think the government or regulation is behind. You know, things are emerging which they are not on top of. They are not sure maybe as yet how to treat this because after all, this Safaricom is a mobile service provider. That's what they do. They are not a banking entity. So probably the regulation will have to catch up. For the rest, I would think each individual case has its own probabilities, its own limitations, its own challenges. Maybe, let's say, for the microfinance industry, most of them want to turn into banks. That's their ambition. I did also one on KREP, which actually has turned into a bank. There are other microfinances out there. The more successful ones are in the process of turning into banks. And the question is, if they do turn into banks, are they actually running away from the clientele that they serve? And what's going to happen to that clientele? My hope for the report is that it is widely read, that particularly regulators get to see it and think about some of these things. We are particularly, in my line of work, we are particularly interested in models that work for the MSE sector, SME sector. So we would, ourselves, I think, should also be getting something out of this. Insights that will inform future research and future advisory services.